Hey everybody, it's Jen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have part 2 of my card making video series. Part 1 was for the beginner card maker, and I will link that video down below in the description box. Today's video is for the intermediate card maker, and if you watched my last one, we used some basic tools to make a beautiful card, including a paper trimmer, some foam mounted tape, and I showed you how to pick out papers that go nicely together. And we use products that are readily available locally in the United States for most people anyway. For this video, we're going to do a few different things. We're going to use dies, and we're going to add some other elements like bling, maybe some shakers, and, things like that. So I have a few different samples that I wanted to show you before we get started, and I will describe what I used for each of them just to give you an idea of how to bring your card making to the next level. Okay, so if you're new to dies, you can get card making dies that work in die cutting machines like a Sizzix Big Shot Plus, a Gemini, those kind of machines. You can find these in most any craft store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and there are very many sources online to find them as well. Let me just show you a couple that I just pulled from my stash. I just got this one. This is a gingerbread die set by Lawn Fawn, which this is a great die company. This is what they look like. I got this one from the Frantic Stamper, which is a great small business online. I got this one from Hobby Lobby. This one cuts out a cute little scene. And then this one I've had for a long time. You can get dies with all sorts of sentiments. This is a Christmas theme one from Sizzix. And you can also get dies with shapes. Like this is a nesting die set that has all different sizes of hearts. So, I mean, I'm sure you've seen them before if you're interested in card making, different die making sets. This is how I create shapes. There's electronic cutting machines and that sort of thing. I don't have that, so I use a manual die cutting machine. So anyway, let's get into some of the cards that I made, and I'll show you how I made them. And we'll make one together as well. Okay, so this is one that I made. It's a very simple card, but I used some die cut clouds, some die cut hearts to look like rain, and I used a pre-made sentiment. And I also die cut with an edge die this bottom layer here to kind of break it up, make it look like grass. The paper has some bunnies on it. So this is kind of like a spring, kind of like thinking of you card. Another one that I made, this one I consider intermediate because it's not that complicated to make. This is a shaker Gingerbread Man that I made with a new die set from Hobby Lobby. I have a couple of videos on how to put shakers together. I will link those down below, but there are lots of videos out there. If you're not sure how to make a shaker element, just go ahead and take a look at those. You could buy pre-made shaker elements like this at Hobby Lobby. They're usually like in the paper crafting section, but it's fun to make your own. And so I like to include these in cards because they add some, some interaction to your cards. So this one I made with that Christmas sentiments die set I just showed you that says Merry Christmas. What I like to do is cut them out twice of two different kinds of paper and stagger them a little bit. It adds a little bit of dimension, a little bit of weight to your sentiments so you can really see them, and it makes them stand out a little bit better. I did use some layering like I showed you in the last video just to frame the scene. This is a cut apart from a paper pad, and I did add some clay peppermint candies that I got from a shop on Etsy as well. Adding elements like this, you can add rhinestones, faux jewels, enamel dots, and clay dots or clay shapes like this, or, anything you'd like. And those really add a nice element to your card making. I like to add lots of different textures, which I think make a card super interesting. And this one is a 6x6 square card. So there's that one. Here's another card that I consider intermediate. I made this last month for Halloween. There are a bunch of different layers. This pink foil or glitter layer, this is all one piece. This was, I got this from AliExpress, which is another great source for dies. And I used some pattern paper behind that. And this pink one is pattern paper. This Happy Halloween came with this die set. And I used some puffy stickers to add some new textures too. I added some bling. This one fell off. I'm not sure where it went, so I'll have to find that. But this is another way to add different textures. Is a great way to add life and interest to your card by using glitter paper, puffy stickers, regular paper, bling. I think that really, really makes your cards look professional. So there's that one. Here's another one with the shaker. This one has different papers, but in the same collection. I also use some, well, they're kind of like puffy enamel stickers. And I used a sentiment that says Harvest Blessings, lots of different shaker bits inside. So again, if you're interested in making shakers and you're not sure how, I will link my videos down below. Another card that I consider intermediate is this one. This one is using a one of those big layout pages from a Michaels paper pad, and I just cut it to size of a A2 card. I added some glue, glitter glue to add some, shine to the back and some texture. This is a new die set from Sizzix, and it came with the sentiment Home for Christmas. So, just adding one die as a focus and then some pretty elements in the back, that's a beautiful card. And you can add some inking. Actually, I'm going to add inking to my advanced card making video next week, but I just wanted to show you this element here for an intermediate card. Another one is this one. This one again uses a layout page for the background. There's a random piece of bling here. Oh, that was on my next card. Okay, it just came off. And I used some new die cuts that I created just to make a cute little wintry scene. So very simple to make, but also a cute, effective card. Let me put that one here so you can see it. This is the next one that piece of bling came off of. Got to glue those on better. When you use sticky bling like this, or, just stickers, make sure you add a little bit of extra glue, because if you just use the adhesive that comes with it, they usually come off. So this one is a simple layered card. It has this cut apart layer and this pink layer and then the house layer. But then I added an edge die cut on the edge just to add some interest. This was a I think it was a Martha Stewart punch that I used to create that edge. And then I covered the inside with glitter so you could see that when the card is closed. So, taking the same, steps that you use to make a beginner card, but adding some interest with the edge, adding some bling, adding another texture for the inside takes your card to another level. And the last one I wanted to show you that makes a very effective card is this one. And this combines a all-over die cut, which is the snowflake one. And I just put that on top of a pretty glittered paper. I added a sentiment, all is calm and bright. I added a foam sticker, snowflake sticker, and some bling to that. This one did not take me long at all, but it does add some more elements that a beginner card would add. Including the stickers and the sentiment and the die cutting, of course. But yeah, I think this is a beautiful card, and it just takes a little bit of thought, but with how you want to put your papers together and that sort of thing. So those are the cards I wanted to show you as examples of what you can make with different elements this time, adding shakers, adding bling, adding more texture, different stickers, and how to combine papers that aren't necessarily in the same paper pad and that sort of thing. Okay, so we are going to make our own card right now, and we're going to make a shaker card. to save time, I put together a shaker, and I used clear acetate for the background so you'll be able to see the background of it. And this is a die set that I got, I believe it was from KS Craft on AliExpress. I will definitely link it down below. I got it last year, but I think it's still available. If it's not, I'll put it down below, but I think it is. So for this shaker, I used paper from a, let me show you the paper pad that I used. This was from Michael's, I think it was last year or the year before. I can't remember, and I don't see a year on here, but this is a paper pad. It's called Bright Spirits. I use this paper here that's right on the front. And I also use some matte silver foiled paper that I got from Michael's in a paper pack as well. For the shaker mix, I use some clay snowflakes. I use some pink sequins, some little tiny like iridescent balls that I think I got those online as well. I will link them too. And I think that is it. There's some clear sequins too. So, you know, making a shaker is really fun to put on a card because the recipient can shake it around. Everybody loves to do that. And this is a puppy sticker that I got from this collection. This is Frank Garcia's collection called Christmas Sparkle. And that's new for this year, 2021. I've used a couple of the puppy stickers from here, but these are great to add to cards because they are a nice small scale, so they, you know, fit in nicely on cards. So anyway, that's the shaker that I created for this project. I'm also going to be using an embossing folder. Embossing folders are a great way to add texture to your cards. What they are, if you haven't used them before, you use them with your die cutting machine. And what you do is, well, let me show you what it looks like first. This is a folder, which, so, it, you know, it opens like that. And it has, one side is raised, if you could see that for the shapes, and the other side is indented. So that's what the image looks like. Once you run it through your machine, your paper will come out with an embossed image of whatever the pattern is on the front. And this one is Christmas bulbs. And I think that these look the best, in my opinion, with pearl paper or foiled paper, because those really show the different highs and lows of an embossed paper. You know, just the reflection of the light on those different surfaces really work well. And this is one that I cut out that I wanted to show you. It's beautiful. This is a blue pearlized paper. I got this paper pad from Michael's a couple of months ago and has really pretty pastel-y colors. So I embossed it by putting the paper in here, closing it and running it through my die cutting machine. Different die cutting machines have different procedures for how to do that, so just follow the instructions with your die cutting machine. But this is what it came out to look like, and I just love it. It's such a beautiful paper, and I cut it down to size for an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that is going to be our base for the card front. Okay, so we have that. And all right, so what I was thinking, I would take this card front, and since it's so beautiful, the embossed image, I wanted to highlight that. That's why I left the backing of the bulb blank or open. So I wanted to put it something like that. But of course, I wanted to have a sentiment on it as well. So I was looking through my paper pads that have sentiments. I was also thinking about creating my own with that Christmas sentiment stamp set that I showed you before. So I did make a few different items, and I tried them out. And sometimes when you're creating your card and you think it's going to go one way, it turns out it's not exactly how you wanted it. For example, for that sentiment die set, this one that I showed you, I thought the word twinkle would look really nice on this card because it's, you know, a twinkling light bulb. So I cut out the word twinkle 3 times. I used some white glitter paper, some pink paper, and some of that light blue shimmer paper as well. And I thought by cutting it out 3 times and layering it, it would stand out and you'd be able to see it nicely on this card. But when I auditioned it, and I use the word audition because that's the word that you typically use when you're choosing fabrics. And so I just use that for papers too. Anyway, when I put that on there, I thought it was hard to read, right? I don't have a dot on the I yet, so that might be part of it. But I think that the script, the font, competes with the background. And it's just not that easy to read. And it doesn't look right. So listen to your inner voice that says, something is not right about that. That's how I usually work with my cards. And it gets frustrating sometimes because, you know, it took a while to cut out 3 different cut this out 3 different times and glue them together. And that was what I thought was going to work. But then when I put it there, I thought, no, I just don't like it. And I could have kept going, but I would not have been proud of that. And I'm not going to spend all this time making a card and not be proud of it. So I went back to the drawing board and I thought, okay, how about if I break up the bottom a little bit and put the twinkle sentiment down here, but like on a different, different surface of card. So I went ahead and I got out a cute little border that I have, a border die. And this has little gingerbread men on it. Again, I'll link it down below in case you're interested, if it's still available. So I cut it out of pink shimmer paper from the same paper pad. And I just added, just a little bit of space at the bottom to put it on the bottom of my card. So I thought that, let me just show you. If I added this, like that, and then put the bulb on it like that, and then put the word twinkle right there, that would be good, right? And it's okay. I don't know. I just don't think it looks very balanced. I think a lot is going on down here, and there's really nothing up there. Everything's on this side of the card. It just does not look right to me. I mean, it's fine. It would work. I'd say, all right, that's okay. But I don't love it. So even after going ahead and making this little border, I'm not going to use it. And I'll use it for something else. So I will save it. It won't go to waste. But it just, it's not for this card. So my last thought was, okay, I'm going to cut out a strip of some paper to put down here just to break it up a little bit, add, a little bit more texture to it. So I went looking through some papers that I have. This one I got last year from LDRS Creative. I think I ordered it from scrapbook.com. I'm not sure. But the paper line is called Mackenzie Christmas, and it's got really, really cute pinks and aquas and blacks. And yeah, I love this paper. So I went looking through it, and there are some border pieces, as you can see here. I cut out a strip that I thought was nice. It was a sentiment. So let me show you that one. And this one says, "'Tis the season to be jolly." And as you can see, it's got that really pretty aqua background. It's got a nice white font, but it's not too bold. It has cutouts in it, so I just think it's a really pretty light font. There was a little bit of another sentiment sticking out here when I cut it to size, so I just covered that up with a couple of puppy stickers from that same puppy sticker pack. So when I auditioned this one, I thought, okay, I'll put that down here and then put that like that. And that, I think, looks really good. Let me hold it up so you could see it. Because the white the white edging of this sentiment pick up the white edging of the light bulb. And it breaks up the aqua from the background to the sentiment. The peppermint candies reflect back on this peppermint candy, so it brings it back together. It adds a little bit of pink, there is some pink in the shaker mix. And this sentiment strip adds a little bit of texture, but it doesn't compete with this background. And since it kind of breaks it up a little bit, it continues at the end, so that's pleasing to the eye. So I think this looks really, really nice. So when I put that together, my thought was, yes, I like that. I will be proud of this, and I'm not going to skimp on you know, my card making by making something that I don't think looks really nice. So let's go ahead and put this together, okay? So I told you last week that I usually use this glue to use in my card making. I want to show you another glue that I also use. This is called Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive Clear Drying Craft Glue. And this one I use for when I make my shakers. I also use art glitter glue, which is a white glue too. These dry faster than this, and you can also apply these more finely. So I'd like to add this when I'm making shakers, when I'm adding something that I can, you know, that's okay to dry immediately or almost immediately. And also I use this on elements that, just in case a little glue goes onto my background paper, you won't see it when it dries. This one stays a little bit shiny when it dries. This one disappears. So I will use this for the background or for the back of my sentiment, just because in case, you know, I have to move it around a little bit while I am placing it on my card, you won't see any excess glue once it's dry. Okay, so we have our glue on the back. Don't skimp on the glue, but don't put too much either. And then I'm going to put it down at the bottom. What looks good to me, make sure it's even from edge to edge. Like that. Okay, so that's glued on. There. And it sticks to the bold part, which is the raised part, which is fine. You know, it adds a little bit of dimension, I think, to the sentiment. Okay, so for the shaker, when you glue this on, if it was a solid back, you could just put glue all over the back and put it down like that. But you don't want to put glue on the back of the acetate because you'll be able to see smudges and stuff once it dries. So I'm going to go ahead, put some of my Nouveau glue on the back here and then just on the edges of the bulb. And that way you won't be able to see it when it's dry and when it's on the card. Like that. And I will show you. See, glue all around, but not in the acetate part. Okay. So here, I'm just going to hold it over my page and figure out where I want it to go, what angle. You don't want to cover up your words. Okay, so I think if I have the point right between B and Jolly, and then put it down. Yeah, that looks good. So then you just press it down everywhere you had glued, and that'll dry pretty quickly. I was thinking I could put a ribbon up here in the hole, but I didn't do that. I think that might add too much weight on this side of the card, so we'll just leave that blank. All right. This one needs a little bit of pressing to hold it down, so I'm just going to hold that a second. This does not take long to dry, this glue at all. Okay, so now we're going to get a card base, and I showed you last week how to make those. You just cut an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock in half, and then fold it in half, and you have an A2 size card, 4.25 by 5.5. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue on this, and then take our card front and mount it onto our card base. So this one I'm going to use my Beacon 3-in-1. Like I said before, I love to use this for my card bases. Just in case you need to slide it around a little bit before it sets, this glue is perfect. And I have Ida from Created to Create to thank for recommending this glue. When I first started paper crafting, she recommended that, and it's really been a game changer for me. All right, so we take our card front and go ahead and put that on our card base. Just slide it into place, check each edge, make sure that it's covering the card base evenly. Little sliding. Okay. Now I'm just going to press it down. That needs to dry a little bit more, the bowl, but that's okay. And there we go. So we'll let that dry a little bit more, but that is a beautiful Christmas card, I think. I hope you like it too. I think that the elements go really nicely together. They complement each other, and I would be proud to send this. Again, like I said before, if you're doing something that you think in your head is going to look good, and then it just doesn't come out the way you want it to, just try something else. You'll be glad you did, because if you have a card that you're just like, that looks all right, it's, you're not going to be proud of it. And what's the point of spending all that time on something that you're not proud of? Just keep going, and eventually you'll come up to, a combination that you really like, and you'll learn in the process of what goes well together, so you won't have too many, do-overs in the future. So that is my lesson for today of intermediate card making. We combine different papers, different sources to find your things, and die cutting, embossing, what else? Different glues, different ways to combine things. So I hope this was helpful to you. Next week, I'll be back with some advanced card making. We're going to add even more elements and different ways to choose your papers and, features of your card as well. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will try to link all the supplies that I can. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another crafty video. Thanks, guys. Bye.